With their incredible RB18 race vehicle, the defending Formula One champions have dominated the competition. Fans and competitors alike have been moved and inspired by it. The entire F1 community has been vibrating with excitement, waiting for the introduction of the RB19, Red Bull Racing's latest innovation. So let's dive right into it. Let's start with what was perhaps the most thrilling aspect of the event, and the only actual piece of information from the car unveiling. You really shouldn't fear. I'll take this chance to vent my annoyances before informing you of all the launch-related disasters that occurred. The news of Ford's comeback to Formula One after more than 22 years away from the sport served as the event's big reveal, rather than Red Bull's livery, which resembled every other livery they had ever created. From 2026, Ford will partially fund Red Bull's engine, taking the place of Honda. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner stated, "It's fantastic to be welcoming Ford back to Formula One through this partnership. From 2026 till at least 2030, Ford, which last competed in Formula One in 2004, will work on the powertrain for Red Bull and sister team AlphaTauri." Ford cites its commitment to sustainability as one of the main reasons for returning, which is consistent with F1's ambition to be carbon neutral by 2030 and to start using sustainable fuels in F1 cars in 2026. With a 350 kilowatts electric motor and a redesigned combustion engine that can run on completely sustainable fuels, the power unit will comply with F1's new technical standards. Horner further added, "They are a manufacturer rich in motoring history that spans generations. From Jim Clark to Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher, the lineage speaks for itself." To open the next chapter of that dynasty, as Red Bull Ford, is tremendously exciting. 2026 is still a while away, but for us the work already starts as we look to a new future and a continued evolution of Oracle Red Bull Racing. Given that Porsche was another choice for Red Bull, I am aware that when you think of Ford, you probably don't immediately picture cutting-edge performance vehicles, but let's consider the facts before making a judgment. Ford is the third most successful engine manufacturer in the history of the sport, behind Mercedes and Ferrari, and has a long history in Formula One. The renowned Cosworth DFV V8 engine won 155 races starting in 1967 and dominated F1 until the turbo era arrived in the early 1980s. Starting with Lotus and Graham Hill in 1968, Ford won 174 Grand Prix, 10 Constructors' titles, and 13 Drivers' Championships. Jackie Stewart, James Hunt, and Mario Andretti, among others, won further championships in the years that followed. The most recent title win for Ford was in 1994, when Michael Schumacher of Benetton won the championship. Ford-powered F1 cars are the third most successful in Formula One history, trailing only Ferrari and Mercedes. I realize that the vast bulk of those successes were over 40 years ago, but you get the idea. Ford wasn't always dull, so let's give them a chance first. Red Bull CEO Christian Horner acknowledged that the occasion wasn't about displaying the new Challenger when questioned about the changes between the RB19 on show versus the one that will be used during Bahrain testing. He said, "Today was about launching the team's aspirations for the year ahead, the partners that we have, and the exciting announcement with the Ford partnership. What you've seen today is not a total reflection of what will hit the track in Bahrain in a couple of weeks' time." Moreover, two-time world champion Max Verstappen revealed that he has not seen the real RB19 yet and doesn't care about its appearance. He said, "I only want a fast car, and it doesn't matter how it looks like to me." That's the only high point of the Red Bull unveiling checked off the list, so let's move on to the lowlights. The obvious place to begin is with the car we saw. To be fair, we should have known better. We should not have been so enthusiastic. We shouldn't have allowed optimism to creep in. Yet, despite everything urging us not to, we anticipated everything as the timer on the stream hit 0. We knew they wouldn't display a new car since it's too early, and there's no reason to reveal any new parts before the Bahrain test at the end of February. Nonetheless, we allow ourselves to be excited only to be disappointed. The car displayed was not the one we will see on track, and Horner made that obvious during the reveal. so we won't even bother analyzing what was revealed. It didn't even have the new wing mirrors required in the 2023 regulations. It wasn't strange that they didn't reveal the new car. No one did last year either, but the new livery hurt. Or should I blame it on the lack of a fresh livery? Red Bull had hinted in tweets that they will have a blank canvas for 2023, but the tweets had a secret meaning which everyone missed. While their main livery came as no surprise, Red Bull did reveal at the presentation that fans will be able to design 3 unique liveries this year, each specific to a race in the United States. A panel of judges will choose a winning livery to design the RB19 in Miami, Austin, and Vegas. That is very exciting, and we can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. Perhaps one of you in the comments has the artistic skills to pull it off. To Red Bull's defense, there are several teams on the grid that have been running the same livery for years, and no one seems to mind. For years, Ferrari has been painted red with some badly camouflaged Marlboro cigarette sponsorship, and everyone freaks out every year when they unveil it. The livery is part of the team's brand image, and changing it every year would probably diminish brand recognition or something. I'm not sure, I don't work in marketing, but that is almost certainly the reason. However, simply tuning in to be dissatisfied by what was shown would not have been too horrible. You're probably wondering what I'm complaining about, given what I mentioned previously. You didn't have to suffer through an hour of cringeworthy moments and random Red Bull athletes discussing Red Bull before that. When the stream ticked down to 0, we were met by Mexican sports writer Giselle Zohar and American sports journalist Marty Smith, possibly the least charismatic set of hosts Red Bull could have picked. Both hosts acted more like robots than humans, and their lack of genuine passion echoed the audience, which appeared to be packed with Ford influencers. They were almost as dead as Ferrari's championship fight in 2022. Their weird, artificial intelligence-like discussion continued into the interview part with Red Bull athletes who had no connection to the Formula One scene. Perhaps the biggest blunder of the event was the announcement of Daniel Ricciardo as the team's third driver. We knew he was there, but this was an opportunity for the team to properly welcome him back and show him off in Red Bull colors. Giselle did her best to get the crowd excited for Formula One's most popular driver, but calling him Daniel Ricciardo was not the best way to do it. She had worked in F1 for over a decade, which added to the agony. Daniel didn't even flinch and tried his hardest to carry the unpleasant interview. But Giselle failed miserably to make the most of a phenomenal interview subject. I'm assuming Marty and Giselle are excellent presenters for their respective organizations. But it was evident that Marty knew nothing at all about Formula One and Giselle looked uncomfortable in that setting. Marty Smith's announcement that Formula One CEO, Stefano Domenicali, will take the stage was the final nail in the coffin. There was silence, followed by a few awkward, jokey comments from Ford's president and Marty Smith, when it was stated that Domenicali wouldn't be appearing. Domenicali was being interviewed by Chris Midland for SiriusXM at the time, and thought he had informed the change of plans. The original idea had been for him to be a part of the celebration welcoming Ford to Formula One, but clearly this had turned into a marketing event aimed solely at promoting the Red Bull brand and its present F1 partners. The Ford announcement was slapped on at the end as an afterthought. Domenicali may have pulled out for this reason, or he may have opted not to be a part of the chaos that ensued. That concludes the Red Bull car launch drama. In terms of the car, while the RB19 does not differ significantly from the RB18, it is important to remember that even tiny adjustments can have a huge impact on performance. Red Bull Racing is known for their attention to detail and commitment to continuous improvement. Therefore, it is reasonable to conclude that the RB19 will be a formidable car capable of challenging for the championship. Still, we will be looking out for any significant changes at the preseason testing in Bahrain starting on 23rd of February and bring you the latest details. Your opinions and thoughts are what make this community great, so be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Also, on your way down, hit that like button and subscribe for more F1 content like this. See you in the next video.